Welcome back to the channel. I'm Colin and today I'm going to review Fio's X flagship dongle DAC, the KA17. It was released in early 2024, so definitely it's not a new product. In fact, there's now the QX13, which should be the successor of the KA17. But the reason I bought the KA17 is because I always get asked in the comments on how certain DACs compare to the KA17 or how certain IEMs pair with the KA17. So I decided to get one so I have an idea of what this sounds like and so that I can use this for a future reference. So here's what comes with the KA17. A leather case, a Type-C to C cable, a USB adapter, quick start guide and warranty card. Last, there are two protective plugs to prevent dust from accumulating in the USB ports. If you're interested in the unboxing process, I've created a short on it. I'll list it in the description. Let's check out some of the specs of the KA17. The KA17 uses dual ESS 9069Q DAC chips and has a THX AAA78 Plus headphone amplifier. The THX amplifier is a kind of technology designed to produce clean and uncolored sound by having a really low noise and distortion level. Power output wise, it's able to output a maximum of 650 milliwatts and 270 milliwatts at 32 ohms load at its balanced port and single-ended port respectively using desktop mode. On the KA17, there's a switch that allows you to switch between desktop mode and normal mode. Normal mode consumes less energy and outputs a little bit less than half of what desktop mode outputs. There's also a secondary Type-C port for external power, or you can use the Fiio e-stick, which is essentially a tiny power bank for the KA17, so it draws less power from the host device. Another important feature on the KA17 is the 10-band EQ, where you can set on an Android device or the web app of a computer. The best part is that you can switch between the different EQs you preset on the device itself. So even if you're an iOS user, once you have the EQs set on a computer, you can use them on the go. All things aside, I think Fio as a brand in general provide the best user interface for their products in this field, no matter if it's speakers, DAPs, DACs, etc. The menu system and apps are always pleasant and predictable to use. And I think that can be seen on the KA17. Let's check it out. Long press this button to bring up the menu. First, gain. We have high and low gain, slightly different volume curves. Digital filters. 8 types of digital filters to choose from. Didn't really hear a difference between them. Then we have the volume step setting that allows you to change from 60 to 120 steps. SPDIF toggle if you want to use this as a digital transport. Channel balance, screen brightness, EQ. There's off and bypass, which I didn't hear a difference between them, but you can also say MQA if the EQ is on bypass if that matters. We have 7 default EQs and 3 user EQs. Max volume, screen rotation, screen timeout setting, USB audio 1 and 2 setting. These are pretty self-explanatory. Then this allows you to decide what the volume key does when you long press or short press. Language is available in English and Chinese. Firmware version, mine's on firmware 2.1. Last, it's recover, which allows you to restore factory settings. Now let's talk about the sound quality. Listening to the KA17, I think it does exhibit a bit of that Fio house sound, which is punchy, quick, and having a bit of an emphasis on the bass, with clear and warm sounding mids. The KA17 has a musical yet revealing tonality to its sound. For the mid-range and treble performance, I find the KA17 quite clinical with some warmth in the lower mids. The attack and the transients are really fast. so there isn't a lot of decay or second harmonics. Some might refer this to sounding a bit dry, but the trade-off is that the resolution is very good in the mid-range and treble. I always found Fiio DAPs and DACs really suitable for pop music for my preference. And that's also the case for the KA17 here. It just has great musicality that makes pop music sound slightly more exciting. Comparing the tonality with the iBasso DC07 Pro, I think the Fiio sounds more bottom heavy and vocals have more tonal weight to them. The DC07 Pro sounds lighter, airier, the notes linger for longer, and the decay is longer. Vocals are placed slightly further back than the KA17. While the KA17, the decay and transients are quicker, and the vocals sound more upfront. Regarding soundstage, I think the DC07 Pro sounds wider, but I like the stage depth presentation on the KA17 more, as it sounds more accurate and has more dimensionality. Which to choose from will highly depend on your preference. The DC07 Pro has awesome efficiency and slightly less power, but the KA17 has more features. If you use EQ a lot, then definitely the KA17. But if you want a dongle that doesn't get hot or drain a lot of battery but still has good power output, I would suggest the DC07 Pro. As I just mentioned the efficiency, let's talk about the efficiency of the KA17. Unfortunately, efficiency is a weak point of the KA17. It heats up and consumes a lot of power. I've put the power consumption figures on the screen. It's measured from a USB current reader. So basically, the KA17 consumes 180 mA per hour in normal mode and 270 mA in desktop mode. That's 2 and 3 times the power consumption of the DC07 Pro. The DC07 Pro only consumes 90 mA per hour on high gain. So definitely keep that in mind if your device is battery conscious. You can use the Fiio E-Stick, but that does add bulk to the KA17 and does not solve the heat issue. Now this brings us to the cons of the KA17, and honestly, the only con I can think of is the efficiency, in terms of it getting relatively hot under use and that it drains much more power than other dongles. There were some user reporting overheating warnings on the KA17, although I haven't experienced that, but I can see that happening if you use desktop mode and the leather case together on a summer day in your pocket. In summary, I think the KA17 is a really good dongle DAC. It has a really good interface and software with customizable EQ support. Has great power output that will drive most headphones and IEMs. And sound quality that I think sounds quite punchy and exciting, which suits pop and mainstream music very well. I definitely don't regret buying the KA17 for myself, even though it's an older product. As I mentioned in the opening, I bought the KA17 as I am always asked to compare products to it. I think the KA17 is definitely still a relevant product to this date, and would make a good point of reference in future reviews. So if battery and efficiency isn't an issue for you, I think the KA17 is still a worthwhile choice if you're looking for a dongle DAC. It doesn't feel dated in terms of its specs and software at all. So this is the end of my review. Please let me know if you have any questions about the KA17. Before I end this video, I just wanted to let you know that AliExpress will be holding a site-wide back-to-school mega sale from August 13th to 27th, offering discounts up to 80% off. So be sure to check out the latest pricing during the sale period. Links are in the description below.